Hare Krishna everyone, welcome back to the reading of Dialectic Spiritualism, a Vedic view on Western philosophy by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Presently this book is published under the name Beyond Illusion and Doubt, and we are Shravanam Diaries podcast. I'm your host Sulalita Devidasi. We're starting chapter 12 entitled Friedrich Nietzsche. Friedrich Nietzsche, 1844 to 1900s, was a German philosopher and poet whose work has greatly influenced modern thinkers. Perceiving that traditional Christian values had lost their influence in society, he coined the phrase "God is dead." His concept of the Übermensch, excuse my German, or Superman, was misinterpreted by the Nazis to try to justify their aggression. Here, Srila Prabhupada explains who the Übermensch really is. Disciple. Schopenhauer spoke of the blind will of the individual as being the basic propelling force that keeps the soul tied to material existence, to transmigration from body to body. Nietzsche, on the other hand, spoke of der Wille zur Macht, the will to power, which is a different kind of will. This will is not used for subjugating others, but for mastering one's lower self. It is characterized by self-control and an interest in art and philosophy. Most people are envious of others, but it is the duty of the noble man, the philosopher, to transcend this envy by sheer willpower. In Nietzsche's own words, the philosopher, quote, shakes off with one shrug much vermin that would have buried itself deep in others, unquote. When the philosopher has rid himself of resentment and envy, he can even embrace his enemies with a kind of Christian love. Srila Prabhupada. This is called spiritual power. Envy is a symptom of conditioned life. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that the neophyte who wants to understand the Vedic literatures should not be envious. In this material world, everyone is envious. People are even envious of God and His instructions. Consequently, people do not like to accept Krishna's instructions. Although Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead and is accepted as such by all the acharyas, there are nonetheless foolish men called mudhas who either reject Krishna's instructions or try to screw out some contrary meaning from them. This envy is symptomatic of conditioned souls. Unless we are liberated from conditioned life, we will remain confused under the influence of the external material energy. Until we come to the spiritual platform, there is no possibility of escaping from envy and pride by so-called willpower. A person in the transcendental Brahmabhuta stage is described in the Bhagavad Gita 18.54 as Samah Sarveshu Bhuteshu. He can look at everyone with the same spiritual understanding. Disciple. Nietzsche calls the man who possesses spiritual power as Übermensch, a word literally meaning above man, and often translated as Superman. The Übermensch is totally self-controlled, unafraid of death, simple, aware, and self-reliant. He is so powerful that he can change the lives of others simply on contact. Nietzsche never referred to any historical person as the Übermensch, nor did he consider himself such. Srila Prabhupada. We accept the Guru as the genuine Superman. Haribo! Oh, this is so beautiful. This is true. We accept the Guru as the genuine Superman because he is worshipped like God and can put one in touch with God and His grace. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasada. Quote, by the mercy of the Guru, one receives the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Unquote. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also accepts this. Guru Krishna prasadipaya bhakti lata bija. Quote, by the mercy of Krishna and the Guru, one receives information about spiritual life so that he can return home back to Godhead. Unquote. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested everyone to become a guru or Superman. Oh, the Superman distributes transcendental knowledge strictly according to the authorized version he has received from his superior. This is called parampara, the disciplic succession. One Superman delivers this supreme knowledge to another Superman, and this knowledge was originally delivered by God Himself. Jai. Disciple. In Thus Spake Zarathustra. Okay, excuse my German again. Nietzsche concludes that all men want power. At the top of this hierarchy, in the quest for power, is the Übermensch. Thus, the Übermensch would be one who has conquered his passions and attained all good qualifications. His actions are creative, and he does not envy others. He is constantly aware that death is always present, and he is so superior to others that he is almost like God in the world. Srila Prabhupada. In Sanskrit, the real Übermensch or Superman is called as Swami or Goswami, who is described by Rupa Goswami as one who can control his words, mind, anger, tongue, belly, and genitals. These are the 6 forces that drive man to commit sinful activity. A Goswami can control these forces, especially the genitals, belly, and tongue, which are very hard to control. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Taramadya jiva ati lobhamaya sudurmati. Taramadya jiva ati lobhamaya sudurmati. The force of the tongue is very great, and for its gratification we create many artificial edibles. Very, very important point. Nonsensical habits like smoking, drinking, and meat eating have entered society simply due to the urges of the tongue. Actually, there is no need for these things. A person does not die simply because he cannot smoke eat meat or drink liquor. Rather, without these indulgences, he can elevate himself to the highest platform. It is therefore said that one who can control the tongue can control the urges of the other senses too. One who can control all the senses, beginning with the tongue, is called a Goswami, or as Nietzsche would say, the Übermensch. But this is impossible for an ordinary man. Disciple. Nietzsche believed that everyone has a will to power, but that the weak seek power vainly. For instance, in his will to power, Hitler sought to subjugate as much of the world as possible, but he was ultimately unsuccessful, and he brought disaster upon himself and Germany. Instead of trying to conquer himself, he attempted to conquer others, and this is the will to power, misdirected or misinterpreted. Srila Prabhupada. Men like Hitler are not able to control the force of anger. A king or national leader has to use anger properly. Narottam Das Thakur says that we should control our powers and apply them in the proper cases. We may become angry, but our anger must be controlled. For example, although Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught that we should be very submissive, humbler than the grass, and more tolerant than a tree, he became very angry upon seeing his dear devotee Nityananda Prabhu hurt by Jagai and Madhai. Everything can be properly utilized in the service of Krishna, but not for personal aggrandizement. In the material world, everyone is certainly after power, but the real Superman is not after power for himself. He himself is a mendicant, a sannyasi, but he acquires power for the service of the Lord. For instance, I came to America not to acquire material power, but to distribute Krishna consciousness. By the grace of Krishna, all facilities have been afforded, and now from the material point of view, I have become somewhat powerful. But this is not for my personal sense gratification, it is all for spreading Krishna consciousness. The conclusion is that power for Krishna service is very valuable, but power for our own sense gratification is condemned. Jai. We're going to stop here for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. The link to this book is in the description. Please check out our website shravanamdiaries.com, and we shall see you tomorrow. Hare Krishna.